A very good afternoon to you all and welcome from me, Edward Rukidi Kijanangoma, to this lunchtime news bulletin. It is a Tuesday, the 23rd day of April 2019. And of course, we begin with some very, very good news. And of course, we've been awaiting the arrival of our planes, the first of 4 planes that have been bought by Uganda Airlines. And yes, today, D-Day, at around 9 a.m., the airplanes touched ground at Entebbe International Airport, and we had some very, very interesting, occasion and dancing and celebrations there as we received those planes. The first, of course, of the 2 CRJ900, and we shall be expecting next year, 2020, to receive our 2 Airbuses. And the event, of course, has been live here on UBC TV. Our crew are comprised of Onyango Jackson and Samuel Senono are in Entebbe, and they have been live, and right now they're still online. And Onyango and Senono, if you can hear me, yes, good afternoon, and tell us what has been the mood. We saw President Museveni there attending that important occasion, receiving those 2 aircrafts. Tell us, take us through the mood at Entebbe. How is it, and how have the people received these 2 aircraft?
Yeah, many thanks, Edward Rukidi Kijanangoma. Samuel Senono coming to you live from Entebbe military base, where Uganda has just received her 2 CRJ900 jetliners from Bombardier. These embarked on a ferry flight last week, and today they've been received at the Entebbe military base, and here the water salute activities were coded to these 2 aircraft. And here to witness the official handover of these jets from Bombardier was the president, flanked by the First Lady, Janet Kataha Museveni. It was, it was a moment, a historic moment for Uganda Airlines, because after close to 17 years, the airlines, the national carrier, has shown strides of revamping the airline. And as you can see right now, what is happening is like this particular aircraft is going to embark on a promotional, a marketing tour, and from here they're heading to South Africa. And from here they will head to South Africa. This is aimed at marketing this particular aircraft. Maybe just to let you know, the CRJ900 atmosphere, Uganda is the first country on the African continent to acquire this particular aircraft. So what's going to happen? Bombardier, the fact being that Uganda is the first country to acquire it on the African continent, is going to use it as an opportunity to market it across the continent. And they are headed to South Africa, Johannesburg. That's where they will stay for a night. And all is aimed at promoting it. And information coming in, there is another African country which has placed 15 orders of this particular aircraft. So it has been a day of celebrations here at Entebbe International Airport and their military base, because these aircrafts, finally, they've reached home. And President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, when he was addressing the gathering here, he hinted on working towards reigniting the East African Airways, because it was mentioned that with Uganda coming into the market, it's going to raise issues of competition. But the president informed the gathering that for him he will be happy if East Africa unites and we have one single airline. And indeed it's true, because talking to experts in this sector, last year I was talking to the CEO of Ethiopian Airlines, Tewedre Gebremariam, and he emphasized the point. He was saying that African airliners should not compete between each other. However, we should unite, because in the intercontinental market, Africa takes about 20%, and the 80% is taken by the other big boys, the Qatar, Emirates, and other airliners on the African continent. So it was re-emphasized here, re-echoed by the president, that Africa, or as East Africa, we should unite. And remember very well, there is a single African charter which is yet to be ratified by many African countries. It is aimed at having one carrier for the whole of Africa. Maybe this will help improve on the traffic and many other things that come along with having an airliner. Maybe another issue which was raised here today is that the fact that we now have an airline. People, as in the Civil Aviation Authority, raised issues that there is need to expand, and there is need to expand this particular aircraft. The process is ongoing, but also have other airstrips where these other jets can land. Another highlight is this aircraft, the ones we are seeing, the CRJ900, have been flown all the way from Canada up to Uganda by Ugandan pilots. Some of them were trained at the Soroti Flying School, and one of them is joining me right now just to tell us the experience. Yes, Captain, you're live on UBC TV. How was it like flying this CRJ900 all the way from Mirabel in Canada to Uganda?
Well, it was quite a long trip, but the weather was good. Normally with us pilots, we kind of more concerned with weather. And we had many stops in Iceland, in Netherlands, and then eventually to Entebbe. It was perfect. The planes are new, they performed well, and we're happy to be here.
As a person in the cockpit, just give us this feel, because it has been said all over that the CRJ900, we are the first to have it on the African continent. What's so new about the CRJ900 atmosphere?
CRJ900 is a kind of a new product on the market. This plane is manufactured by the Canadians, and as you heard our president mention, as a manufacturer, the Canadians are trying to enter into the aviation market, and we are also coming in as clients for them. And the good thing is that some of us have been flying these airplanes for quite some time, and I can say they are reliable, they are efficient, and they are the best choice for us as a beginning airline.
Because I'm giving you what was on social media when we first broke the news, because as UBC, we visited Bombardier in Canada, and we were, updating Ugandans. Some were raising issues that the country Uganda is devoid of experienced pilots capable of flying such aircraft.
That is speculation, as you've said. Most of us, as you've heard the president again say, we've come in from the diaspora. Very many Ugandans, my colleagues, have been behind the training and establishing of most of these airlines that you see landing here. And as such, we've been called back home. Uganda has pilots. I'm one of them, and I think you've seen some of my colleagues. And we're quite experienced at that as well. So there's a lot of anxiety and speculation, but I can say we are a formidable team that is available. Okay,
pilot, let me release you to go for the marketing tour in South Africa.
Thank you very much.
All the best. I was speaking to one of the flight captains of Uganda Airlines, Emmanuel. So this rubbishes what has been said on social media, that Uganda is devoid of experienced pilots who will fly these new kids in the airlines block. This is marks, in the process of reviving the airlines. What is happening here today marks the final, as in the country will also acquire the long-haul Airbus aircrafts, which will go for the international, all those long-haul trips, because people have been saying that can this fly the route to China or any other, China or intercontinental, but these are regional aircrafts, and they will fly those regional routes, say for example from Uganda to Kenya to Rwanda, all those regional routes. From the team that has been covering this, the official receiving of these aircraft at the Entebbe military base, I am Samuel Senono, and back to studio.
Senono, thank you so much for that update, and of course our crew of Onyango Jackson and Samuel Senono, these guys have been on this right from Canada, Quebec, Canada, when those aircrafts were being handed over to Minister Zuba. They have been there. They have talked to so many, officials, both Bombardier officials and also those in the Ugandan government. And talking about that, we could say that one significant highlight about the new CRJ900 atmosphere aircraft Uganda has acquired from Bombardier is that they will be flown by capable pilots from Uganda, and shortly before takeoff in Canada, Samuel Senono caught up with Captain Michael Etiang, Uganda Airlines Airlines chief pilot and the one who is tasked with actually training of pilots and discussed aviation. Take a watch.
Uganda will be the first to operate the CRJ900 jetliners from Bombardier on the African continent. Though this is a new variant in the CRJ series, the planes will be flown by Ugandan pilots. At the Bombardier headquarters in Mirabel, Canada, we caught up with Captain Mike Etiang, Uganda Airlines chief pilot. For Etiang, the sky has never been the limit, but rather his home. He has been flying for over 20 years and currently has over 12,000 flying hours.
250 hours were based on, were acquired during what they call ab initio training, which is the initial training I got from Sorority Flying School, thanks to government scholarship. And then the next 1,000 or so hours I got in general aviation, flying for a well-known local company in Entebbe. And then I got a chance to fly cargo aircraft. I was a co-pilot for about 5 years and amassed another 3,500 hours. And then since then I've been flying the CRJ. So my hours are divided roughly 6,000 as a co-pilot and 6,000 as a captain.
His flying journey started way back at Sorority Flying School as a student, and for him it has been a turbulence-free career, literally.
Seen things from both perspectives, from the responsibility of being in that seat, which is the co-pilot seat, and the responsibility of being in this seat as the captain seat. Also as an instructor, we have had the chance to train and develop the abilities in crew in the region, in neighboring countries. And it's been an honor. It's not a job I take for granted. I'm grateful to the government, I'm grateful to colleagues and friends, all the companies that have given me a chance to grow in this career. I've had the honor to work with very intelligent, very gifted pilots.
With the revival of Uganda Airlines already taking shape, he believes the youth in Uganda should now consider careers in aviation and other related fields.
In almost every industry, and this is no exception. Uganda, we have very many talented people who deserve a fair chance, and I hope and pray that the government will provide opportunities for them. Like I said, I've benefited myself from a government scholarship, and I hope the same facilities will be there for others to come up. Aviation is a market that is needed. We're a landlocked country, and we're a country that relies on a lot of investment to help us grow. And we have a lot of community in the diaspora. So aviation is the key to the growth and sustenance of our economy. It's also an industry that needs sharp young minds, as well as experienced minds.
Etiang also thrashes notions that have for long been held by many, that the country is devoid of experienced pilots capable of flying such new aircraft.
Right now we have very experienced senior captains as far as Vietnam, as far as Doha, Qatar, in America and South Africa, around the world. They're all doing their bit out there quietly, the unsung heroes of the trade. They act as our ambassadors, showing a high standards of excellence in the performance of their duties, and in time you'll get to know who they are.
There is that tag on this particular series, CRJ900 Atmosphere. Really, take us through that. What does it entail?
Okay, the atmosphere implies a difference in design for the way the interior is designed of this aircraft. There's greater lighting by larger windows, and also mood lighting where the lights can be varied to offer different colors to match different moods of the day. The toilets, as indicated earlier, have a more spacious design, and also the gallery area, which is used for serving of onboard refreshments, also has more space, which makes it more friendly for the cabin crew.
The imminent arrival of Uganda's CRJ900 jetliners and the availability of essential staff is a story of clear skies for Uganda Airlines. Samuel Senono, UBC News.
Thanks, and of course that interview with Captain Michael Etiang was taken shortly before that plane actually lifted off from Canada to come here to Uganda, specifically to Entebbe. And of course, as you've been watching UBC TV right from 9 a.m., those planes actually arrived here at about 9 a.m. Tuesday morning. That was this morning. And of course, so many concerns have been there, people saying that these planes are too small, they're just like buses. However, the revived airliner has since taken off the delivery of the 2 aircraft from Bombardier. They have been bombarded with concerns bordering on the choice of the aircraft, and they've been labeled as small bus. However, the interest on the aviation industry has surged among Ugandan population upon this development, regardless of the fact that the airliners have been in operation in the country. But like for any new field, Uganda's re-entrance into the aviation industry has a lot to do with explaining the differences between the aircraft types, sizes, and the choices that airliners have, to take in sometimes this very turbulent sector. Now, Onyango Jackson was one of those correspondents, UBC correspondents, who have been following this right from Canada, and now he takes us on this task to try to tone it down.
The revival of Uganda Airlines, a subsequent official handover of the 2 aircraft by Bombardier, have generated high interest of enthusiasts and pessimists alike. Sections are baffled by the size of the 76-seater CRJ900 aircraft, a capacity compared to the Kampala Metropolitan Town Service buses. Argument is, Uganda should have gone for the large variant. Profitability drives most business setups, airliners not being exceptional with considerations to make, determining the choice of equipment. Airliners are often tied to 4 options to choose from for the commercial passenger jetliners, either from the American manufacturer Boeing, European Union manufacturer Airbus, Canadian maker Bombardier, or Embraer from Brazil. There are other manufacturers, though these are especially predominant for private jets like Gulfstream Airspace and Textron Aviation. Bombardier and Embraer are predominant manufacturers of regional airliners like the CRJ900 Uganda Airlines receiving have a maximum flight endurance of 6 hours.
We need also to make sure that the airlines within the region, you've got a relationship. When you have a problem with your airline, they can help. So having the same equipment is extremely important. Already I see Uganda Airlines is buying a different equipment, which will not augur very well with the other 3.
Operation of CRJ900 is a new experience for Uganda Airlines. It will need your continuous support to enhance competitiveness of the CRJ900 in Africa. Therefore, you should consider developing a maintenance and training facility in the region.
Nevertheless, Boeing and Airbus also do have medium-sized aircraft like 737 and A318, which carries 132 passengers. Regional aircraft are cost-effective through their fuel efficiency and are used by airliners to link up to major hubs. For an airliner, they are assured of the aircraft getting the passenger numbers than operating a long-haul large aircraft on a shorter route without the numbers.
Uganda Airlines is choosing this aircraft as giving us a chance to re-enter the market with a competitive aircraft that matches the modern expectations. And I trust the public and the company will enjoy this aircraft.
Kenya Airways and Rwanda Air operated Embraer and CRJ regional jets for the East Africa market and do deploy long hauls for the rest of the world. Both Airbus and Boeing have stopped production of their largest double-deck line of aircraft A380 and 747s as airliners opt for the double engine, cutting down on the fuel consumption. On the other hand, Uganda, after placing firm orders with Airbus, expects to receive the long-haul A330neo before the end of the year 2020.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Flight 900 from Canada to Kampala. We shall be flying through Iceland to Netherlands and then France. I'm Onyango Jackson, your captain, and Samuel Sonono, the first officer.
Onyango Jackson, thank you so much. And of course, we await that trip when you take us on Uganda Airlines. And now let's move on to other stories. The International Youth Fellowship has launched Mindset Change Education Training at Kigo Women Prison. Now, the Director Education at International Youth Fellowship in South Korea, Jong Soo Yoon, says inmates need mindset training to help them during their life after prison. Now, earlier this month, the team launched the same program at Kauga Prison in Mukono District. In 2016, the Koreans signed a memorandum of understanding with the Ugandan Education Ministry to incorporate their mind education, also referred to as the education of the heart, that focuses on reconditioning the mindsets of individuals.
Today I visited here Chigo Women Prison. Most of these women are here not because they didn't want to live a straightforward life, but because although they had struggled, when the temptation come and darkness come, their power in their heart is weaker and have no power, so they defeated. So most of them they are very frustrated. They gave up to be changed. But today I wanted to give them the hope. When their heart changed, even their life changed, even they changed the society and country, they become very useful. So I have seen so many evidence we have. So today I came with hope. I believe these prisoners, when they receive this education, mind education, they shall be changed completely.
Change the mind, change the life, Chigo Women Prison!
Change mind or mindset change needed in as far as prisoners are concerned, especially women when they leave prison life and then join the rest of the community. Lunchtime news will now take a short break, but we'll return with what's happening in the international on the international scene. Stay with us.
Dream has a challenging journey. Ours began in 1998 with a mission to drive the development of a robust communications sector in Uganda. We created structures to champion the dream. We've evolved, made discoveries, supported great minds, empowered Ugandans, and fostered a vibrant culture, enabling communication for all. Down the years, we've created memories and networks, uniting generations and building great partnerships. Together, we can go even further. UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.
Hello? Where can we find a mechanic?
That's it!
For what?
That's it!
What happened?
Finished!
You have network here.
You're not on Airtel! For us, we have Airtel 4G everywhere!
Access data anywhere on Uganda's only 100% 4G network. With you always. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back from that short break, and this is Lunchtime News here on UBC TV. And now crossing borders, we go to Egypt, where Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi will lead two emergency summits with other African leaders later today to address events in Sudan and Libya. Now, according to a statement from the presidency, the leaders will focus on the evolution of the situation in Sudan, where protests continue after the military toppled President Omar al-Bashir. They will also seek to stem the current crisis in Libya, where Commander Khalifa Haftar is leading an offensive on Tripoli, Egypt's presidency said in a statement. Now, the AU on the 15th of April threatened to suspend Sudan if the military does not hand over power within 15 days of that date to a civilian authority. President of the African Union Commission, Moussa Faki, is also expected to participate in the discussions along with officials from Ethiopia, South Sudan, Uganda, Kenya and Nigeria. Now, the planned summits are the first to be convened by African leaders on the current crisis in Sudan and Libya. On to Nigeria now, where a British aid worker and a Nigerian citizen were killed and 3 others kidnapped when a gunman stormed a luxury hotel near the northern Nigerian city of Kaduna, the police and UK authorities have said. The incident took place at Kajuru Castle late on Friday, Nigerian police said in a statement. The UK High Commission on Sunday confirmed the death of one of its nationals in a tweet. Now, the woman was named by her employers as Faye Mooney from Manchester and was employed in Nigeria as a communications specialist for the non-governmental organization Mercy Corps, which said it was utterly heartbroken. Kidnapping for ransom is very common in Nigeria, with foreigners and high-profile Nigerians frequently targeted. Police said there had been no claim of responsibility for the incident and the kidnappers were yet to be identified. And that was international news. Now we'll take a short break and return with what's happening in the world of sport. Sports now, and we'll look at motorsport, where the Uganda motorsport fraternity was this morning hit with the sad news of the death of the reigning two-wheel drive champion Edwin Kalule, and that actually was yesterday when that sad news happened. Now, Kalule was hit by Susan Muwonge's rally car while spectating during the just concluded Masaka rally last weekend. Susan Muwonge lost control of her car and rammed into a couple of fans during the penultimate section of the rally, with many surviving but with fatal injuries in the process. Kalule suffered severe injuries to his ribs during the accident. He was later rushed to Zambia Hospital, where he has spent a week fighting for his life in the intensive care unit. Kalule joined competitive rallying 4 years ago, and he secured his maiden class title with Celica in 2018. Kalule was preparing for a rally upgrade in the National Rally Championship. Now, his death comes 5 months after the death of motorsport icon Moses Mohanji. It is on record that Uganda Motorsport Federation has always emphasized safety first at every rally event, only to fall short with accidents at events. It's coming to 28 minutes after 1 in the studios of UBC TV. We finally come to the end of Lunchtime News this Tuesday, the 23rd day of April 2019. Thank you so much for having chosen UBC TV to be your channel of choice. My name is Edward Rukidi Kijanangoma, and on behalf of the entire news crew this afternoon, I wish you a blessed day. Ciao.